Were Jiraiya and Kashin Koji partners at one point in time? Alright. Out of all of the ridiculous Naruto slash Boruto theories that I've heard, this one pretty much hits the jackpot. So there is a portion of people in the Boruto community that think that Kashin Koji of Kara could be Jiraiya. I actually saw a forum about this. Many people have dropped comments throughout my different Boruto manga reviews, and today I just wanted to clear up any misconceptions anybody would have because of some of these people that have this theory. The answer is no. Alright, no. Kashin Koji cannot be Jiraiya, but we're going to be talking about something today that could link him to Jiraiya in a way. But is he Jiraiya? No, and let's address that. For starters, you're right, I have no proof. I can't confirm that he's not Jiraiya, but Jiraiya's body is at the bottom of the seafloor. It's probably already decomposed. Any chance of Jiraiya coming back to life could only be via salvaging his DNA and recreating him. But it would never be the same Jiraiya that we once knew with the the lovable personality and the wide range of techniques across all different, releases. That wouldn't be the Jiraiya that had come back to the series, if he would of course come back to the series. You're right, I have no proof, but Jiraiya's body is at the bottom of the ocean floor. Kabuto himself wanted to bring Jiraiya back to life during the Fourth Great Shinobi World War, but he couldn't because the body was just too deep. And at this point in time, it's probably decomposed. The only chance of Jiraiya coming back into the series is if, they find his, corpse or the remains in the ocean floor, they salvage some of his DNA and recreate him. But that would never be the same Jiraiya we once knew with the lovable personality, with the wide range and knowledge of different jutsu and techniques and everything to do with the shinobi lifestyle. That wouldn't be the same Jiraiya. If Kashin Koji ends up being Jiraiya somehow, that would be the greatest ass pull of the century. I don't even know how they'd pull that off, and I don't want anybody to compare that to, for instance, Tobi ending up being Obito. Yes, in many ways that was very crazy, and a lot of people weren't satisfied with the actual backstory that we got, how Obito was brainwashed and how, Madara manipulated him. A lot of people didn't like that backstory. And a lot of people would have preferred Tobi being Izuna or Shisui or Madara himself, but the type of ass pull that Kashin Koji being Jiraiya would be is just on another dimension, guys. That's insane. That's even crazier than, for instance, Shinki, Agata's son, being Kawaki. It would just be okay, that's a terrible analogy, terrible example, because, that would be just very random, but it wouldn't be as big of an ass pull as Jiraiya being Kashin Koji. Now, yes, it's true, Kishimoto did come out and say that the reason Jiraiya wasn't brought back is not only because, of course, his body was, all the way at the bottom of the ocean floor, but he basically stated that there wouldn't be enough time to do Jiraiya's character justice if he was reincarnated, right? Especially in this war where so many infamous shinobi were brought back to life. If you bring Jiraiya back to life and he, for instance, encounters Naruto, you know how much of a crazy spectacle that would be and how much emotion and effort you'd have to put into a scene like that. A student master affection, that famous OST that everybody, every hardcore Naruto fan, by the end of that OST is getting the shivers hearing that. It would be just crazy to bring Jiraiya back during the war, but to bring him back as a full-time character, now you could say, well, then, this new author would have the time to actually develop this character as he's this new character and, any kind of emotion that would be created in a situation with Naruto, for instance, or some other character connected to Jiraiya. True, obviously Ikemoto has all the time in the world with this Boruto series to make Kashin Koji into whatever type of character he wants him to be, but Jiraiya, and what, he's now on some Madara? You know what I mean? What kind of crazy transition is that? Right? What could have traumatized Jiraiya that much? Jiraiya was so rigid in his ideology and his beliefs. How would he turn out to be like Kashin Koji? Now, true, we don't know Kata's goals. Kata could have some genuine goals, some honest, humble goals, right? Some good guy goals. But they're also going to be the villains of the story. The only way that this could be Jiraiya is if it's just Jiraiya's body. But the consciousness, the person, that the mind is different. It's completely separate. This is Kashin Koji's mind using some recreated version of Jiraiya's body with a haircut or something. Now, Orochimaru also took over new bodies, and it was his mind, but as his body would deteriorate, he looked for new hosts, right? So you could say, well, you know, that works. It's been seen before in the Naruto story, so Jiraiya's body could technically be used, right? Still a huge stretch, and would Kishimoto, somebody who came out and said, I cannot bring Jiraiya back because it would just be too much to handle, do you think that he would recommend Ikemoto, whom did not even create the original story and write the original material with Jiraiya, to bring Jiraiya back and to handle such an important character that's loved by so many fans? You got to think about it logically. Now, why are people saying that this is Jiraiya? Why are people saying that Kashin Koji is Jiraiya? For starters, yes, his appearance, the white hair. People are saying his hair is different because Kashin Koji also, he's got like some kind of metal protector around his face. People are saying that his facial structure, his facial features look similar. His eyes. It's the classic, why Kashin Koji gotta have a metal protector around his face? I mean, it's true. Sometimes when you see these things, you do wonder if this is somebody that you knew in the past. Like, why would they be hiding? But not everything needs to be like, you know, a broken down and dissected with that much detail. And at the same time, it's the irony in the sense that Jiraiya was killed off by the Akatsuki. Now he's joined Kata, this remix of the Akatsuki. That's what people are saying. Think about the Hidden Mist villages. Ao, who worked for intelligence, a part of the Alliance when we were fighting Madara and the entire White Zetsu army, as well as all the people reincarnated and Kabuto and all these bad guys, right? He ended up defecting to Kata. And you have, for instance, one of the most historical examples we just mentioned, Madara. Madara started off really loving humanity in the sense that he wanted to cherish and protect his clan and create a village that, you know, future kids could grow up in and they would be safe and it would be like a more peaceful world. And look what ended up happening to him. So it is a common theme in the story to where characters with good intentions end up being corrupted by the world and they become bad guys, right? You could technically say, though, if Kashin Koji ends up being Jiraiya, it could be an Itachi situation, how he was a part of the Akatsuki to look over the world and specifically the Hidden Leaf Village and Sasuke, right? But even Itachi's actions being a part of the Akatsuki were immoral to some degree. I just don't feel like they should taint Jiraiya's legacy in that way. But the final thing that's got a lot of people saying that this dude is Jiraiya is the fact that he remembers Konoha and he has some kind of history with the village. Now, Jiraiya has a long history with the village. He's a part of the original Team Sannin. His sensei was the third Hokage. He went to foreign lands helping and teaching children. This guy really knows the world, and he has a long history within Leaf Village. Now, Kashin Koji specifically says that his fate is linked to the Hidden Leaf Village. And I quote, "The land of fire, Konoha village, it seems I'm truly linked by fate to this village, or to that village." So there's something about Kashin Koji that he has like a long history within Leaf Village. How many white-haired characters do we know have a long history within Leaf Village? I mean, I guess you could say Kakashi, for instance. There we go. This theory is just crazy dumb. I'll add something to this ridiculous theory that could, I guess, help you guys. This guy, he's proficient at fire release. In fact, that old dude that he basically just Amaterasu, if you think about it, that technique that he used was very, very similar to the Amaterasu because this guy was trying to regenerate and the flame just kept eating him up. And he ended up being incinerated, right? This guy is like proficient at fire release. That's the only thing we really know about him and his abilities. Jiraiya's most proficient release, outside of his like senjutsu, which is not a release, was fire release, right? Jiraiya was really good at fire release. So that's the only other thing I can think of to support this dumb theory. But it's BS. It's not true, guys. This dude, Kashin Koji, is not Jiraiya. If he ends up being Jiraiya, would I drop Boruto if this guy ends up being Jiraiya, man? I'm gonna have to answer that question some other time. Now, here's the only way this guy could be connected to Jiraiya somehow, because this dude, Kashin Koji, is definitely connected to some clan in the Hidden Leaf Village. For sure. I have that feeling. I know this because he was reminiscing on the Hidden Leaf Village, and he's old. He was reminiscing in a way that somebody that hadn't lived there and didn't have some kind of roots there wouldn't be thinking on the village in the same way. It reminds me of how Itachi would reminisce on the Hidden Leaf Village from the outside. The only way that they could connect this guy to Jiraiya is if they come from the same clan, if they were partners at one point in time. Now, That doesn't mean same-sex intercourse was involved or implemented in their partnership. It just means maybe they were teammates at one point in time. I know in 2018, I just gotta clarify, because everyone gonna be calling me gay, or everyone gonna be calling Jiraiya homosexual. Jiraiya's not homosexual at all. Okay, guys, he was a master of seducing women, and he loved women. He had like 10 bitches on him at all times. Like, he could just hit them up. Like, 10 would drop their panties for him and run straight to where Jiraiya is, no matter where he is. He could be sinking. He could be sinking to the bottom of the ocean floor. Just gonna be jumping in the ocean just to be with Jiraiya, just to die with them. That's how faithful they were. All right, let me stop, please. Let me just stop. We don't know anything about Jiraiya's background, his clan, you know, what his roots are. And that would be the perfect opportunity to tie a character like Kashin Koji to a character like Jiraiya. Maybe they come from the same clan. Maybe that's why they kind of look the same. They have a similar statue, similar hair color. Obviously, characters who look similar have a tendency to be related in some way. Maybe Jiraiya's last name is Koji, right? Maybe Koji's just a code name. I don't know. The only way that this guy could be connected to Jiraiya is if he has similar roots to him. Like, maybe he knew Jiraiya and they were part of the same clan. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, there's really nothing to support this theory. I can't disapprove it. There's just simply not enough evidence. And there's some things you could put in that theory's corner, but other than that, it's just so far-fetched. And really, I think we should give the story some more time to flesh out some of these kata characters before we start making these wild theories.